How often do you go without listening to music or looking at a logo? How many of you listen to music while doing homework or studying? How many of you use music to relax? Most people either listen to music or look at art 3 times a day. We see art in our everyday lives, and most people cannot imagine life without a music streaming service, a movie or video streaming service, or social media. All these things have become a part of 21st century living, but education for art and music is minimal. How do we rely so much on music and art for human development as well as personal enjoyment, but not fund education for it properly? Art and music help us learn emotional confidence, can even relax us and increase our focus, allowing us to do better in other areas of life. Today I would like to talk to you about the advantages of arts for college and the workforce, the studies on developmental use of art education in children, and the recognition of the arts in our everyday lives. Although you may not realize it, art education when you were a child is shown to be one of the main reasons behind success of getting into college or in the workforce. When children are creative, they use a different part of their brain. They don't use this part of their brain in core classes like math or science. It's essential to develop this area of the brain because it allows children to learn creativity and problem-solving skills as well as collaborative skills. For example, let's say a child wants to go into advertising as their career. Without developing this part of their brain, they wouldn't be able to come up with innovative ideas for their ad company or understand the effects that music and aesthetic can have on the human brain. Another way art helps you succeed in college specifically is by getting you into college, so to speak. Studies by the NAA show that art and music education help improve math scores as well as gainage of confidence within children. In one study done in high school students taking the SAT, the research showed that students that were actively involved in the arts outscored students who were not, in math by 60 points and in reading by 24 points. This not only improves your college application, but it also benefits the school system as well. It boosts scores that are needed and used to determine funding. But test scores only do so much. In order to succeed, you must have confidence in your abilities. It's a good thing that art helps with that as well. In one research done, they took 2 groups of boys, one group living in standard housing and one group living in juvie between the ages of 8 and 19. They learned how to play guitar and present their guitar playing in front of fellow peers. This boosted their self-confidence and self-esteem. But the development of these skills starts in elementary school students. If you look specifically at elementary schools, as we are, you will find that arts education significantly affected students' school engagement, college aspirations, and ability to understand emotion. Children who study art increase 8% in standard deviation, an ability to understand emotion. Children who study art have been shown to have an increased gain of interest in how people feel and in attendance and willingness to do schoolwork and keep an interest in school. This education helps them focus and relax in other classes as it provides an outlet for stress and allows for better emotional control. When children learn to better manage their stress and emotions, it creates a positive and safe learning environment for not only other students, but for teachers and educators as well. All these skills that we learned as children throughout classes like art and music helped us in our school lives, from elementary to high school. All the skills you learned as a child through arts education are needed to pass higher level classes. In a New York Times article, it is stated that neuroscience suggests that arts education play an underestimated additional part as to how children and adults learn. In that same article, they reference Paul T. Souden, a psychology professor, and he warned that as arts education programs suffered due to a lack of funding, that the loss of the arts could have a negative effect on everyone. He stated, "Art education is a chance to build resilience and determination in children, as well as to help them master complex skills." Now, for my last point, you may be wondering why all this matters. Outside of its effects on learning, how does other people's passion for the arts benefit me? As I stated at the beginning of my speech, we use and see the arts in our everyday lives. When you look at your living room or kitchen, you may not see it, but that is a form of art. It's interior design and architecture, which is art not used for admiring, but used for functionality. When you listen to music while you work out or work on schoolwork, when you listen to music to de-stress or calm down, and even when you just listen to music because you want to listen to music, you're using art. When you watch a movie, you're watching art. Without music or sound effects, can you imagine how boring movies would be? Even in silent films, there were music and sound effects. Music is a universal language. We hear it through these movies and commercials and TV shows, and music in these forms of multimedia can change the entire mood of what you're watching. When the music is joyful, it puts you in a joyful mood. But you could take the same scene and put suspense music behind it, and it would immediately turn suspenseful. Without music or sound effects in movies, you'd have to rely on facial expressions, which aren't universal and not as easy to read. It is psychologically shown that background music in movies pulls you into a movie on a deeper level. Acting is also a form of the arts. Theater. Imagine a movie without actors, or voice actors. Even in animated films, voice actors are used, as well as the fact that they're a series of meticulously thought out drawings. I guarantee you within the past semester, even you have used art. Although you may not think about it, giving a speech is a form of art. It requires projection, confidence, planning. Art is a form of expression, and by that very criteria, giving a speech, no matter how small it is a form of the arts. The main takeaways I hope that you get from this is that art is beneficial to everyone, and is an essential part of human development. We use art and the effects of art every single day. Just look around you. I urge you to look at your everyday life and recognize the amount of art around you. Think about all the skills I talked about and how you still use them to this day. Think about all the benefits that education in the arts as a child helped you in the past and how they help you now. I hope that if you become a parent and enroll your kid in public school, that you attend the school board meetings about budget cuts, because the arts are usually the first thing to go. I hope you remembered the benefits of art education that I just told you and push for arts education. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope the next time you listen to music or watch a movie, you think about all the ways that it benefited your life.